All right, shalom, shalom. I'm Y'all coming at you with another lesson straight out of Lion's Den Camp of Yashala. But before I get started with this lesson, I would like to give all praises to the Heavenly Father in the name of His only begotten Son, in their proper true names. And we're going to start off by saying, Kal, Halayim, La, Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shai, Bahashim, Ha, Rakah, Kodash, Ma'amath. Definitely want to give double honors to the elder apostles of GMS. All right, and their elders. Definitely want to give double honors to my elder apostle, Ahar Wan, Banyasha all of the Lion's Den Camp, located right here in Jacksonville, Florida. All right, Shalom to the sincere men, women, and children. Shalom to the Lion's Den Camp and to the elect that believe in the names of Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shah. Shalom, shalom. All right, today's lesson is going to be based off this article from the iPaper. It says, Trump is building an empire. He wants 55 states across 3 continents. Man, this guy here, this goddamn guy here, man. He's a trip, man. I tell you that. You know, might have to use that in my thumbnail. But this guy here, man. All right, it says, taking time off from the Iran war this week, Donald Trump posted a picture of Venezuela as the 51st state. The map of the country covered in the stars and stripes. This was the U.S. president's usual trolling. But as his former personal lawyer, Michael Cohen, once said to me, Trump jokes, but he never really jokes. All right. It says, in characteristic fashion, Trump doubled down on his meme. It says, he told Fox News he was, quote, seriously considering a move to make Venezuela the 51st state, end quote. Venezuela has almost 29 million people. It will be the 3rd most populous state in the U.S. after California and Texas. It does not seem to have occurred to Trump that Venezuelans might object to being annexed. It says he told a U.S. journalist, Cheryl Atkinson, right, quite accurately, that the U.S. was already helping to run the place. See, it says Venezuela is, quote, Venezuela is a very happy country right now, end quote. He said, you know, you know how he be lying, you know, or just in his boastful state, you know how Trump get down. We done plenty of videos about this wicked individual, man, and his pride and his boasting and you know his lies. Let's just be frank, you know. It says they were miserable. Now they're happy. It's being well run, end quote. It says, in threatening to seize Venezuela, Trump is not merely being his usual transgressive self. There is a long tradition of U.S. presidents looking beyond American borders and grabbing the nearest piece of territory. It is how the U.S. came to assume its present shape, but he is reaching further than any U.S. president before him. Venezuela is 1,400 miles from the continental United States, man. This is the mindset of Trump, though, man. Let's get some precepts, man. This Habakkuk 2. Let's see. I'm gonna start off in really, you can start off in 4, but the point is in 5. All right. This Habakkuk 2 and 4. Behold, his soul which is lifted up is not upright in him, but the just shall live by his faith. You know, to speaking on people like Trump, man, or the wicked, you know, or that wicked nation, that wicked family, right? Esau, Edom, you know, and all these wicked nations, really, that falling behind them, right? As well as, you know, 2/3 of our people, sadly to say. But, you know, mainly the topic is about how wicked this individual is and how, you know, and the nation that he comes from. It says, yea, also because he transgresseth by wine, he is a proud man, neither keepeth at home, who enlarges his desire as hell, and is as death, and cannot be satisfied, but gathereth unto him all nations, and heapeth unto him all people, man. Let's grab that in the, oh snap, don't mess that up. Let's grab that in NLT real quick. All right, it says, dang, why I jumped down so far? This is Habakkuk 2. Let's go back up. I don't know why it took me to verse 15. This Habakkuk 2 and 4 in the NLT. It says, Look at the proud. They trust in themselves, right? As we see, Trump already has said, right? He ain't making it upstairs to the upper room. It just shows his lack of understanding as well. But anyway, it says it just shows that he do understand that he's wicked though. That much he knows. It says, look at the proud. It said they trust in themselves and their lives are crooked, but the righteous will live by the faithfulness of Yahweh Bashim Yahushua. Right? They trust in their wicked deeds, man. They trust in their own power, their own strength, their own money. That's why they could they're arrogant. Walk around with that arrogant mindset. This verse 5 in the NLT says, wealth is treacherous, and the arrogant are never at rest. Right? They're never at rest, man. They open their mouth as wide as the grave, and like death, they are never satisfied. In their greed, they have gathered up many nations and swallowed many peoples, man. Now, in the NIV, it says, indeed, this is the one I really like. It says, indeed, wine betrays him. He is arrogant and never at rest, because he is as greedy as the grave. Damn. Ooh. Ooh. And like death is never satisfied, right? Because the grave is, the grave is, or hell is the grave, and the grave is just, just what it is. It's like a place, under the earth where you be buried, or, some part of the earth that you buried in, like a tomb, or 6 feet in the grave in the casket, or whatever the case may be. It's plenty of land, plenty of places people could be buried. That's why it says, because he is as greedy as the grave, man. Meaning, death, for one, death hasn't stopped. People are always going to continue to die, until, except for the elect, when that day, once we're beautified and changed in the twinkle of an eye, but the rest of them still will be like the, like the heathens and all of them, after, especially after do their 1,000 years of slavery. It says, because he is as greedy as the grave, and like death is never satisfied. Right? So, again, people are just, going to continuously die. It's nothing going to stop that, man. That's how greedy, that mindset of that wicked nation is, especially this man that's running this nation today, DJ Trump. He gathered to himself all the nations and takes captive all the peoples. It says, will not all of them taunt him with ridicule and scorn, saying, woe to him who piles up stolen goods and make himself wealthy by... Right, and you see what's going on right now with Trump, man. All that stuff really is fattening his pockets, while the American people are suffering right now. And the economy is in bad shape right now. Everything inflation. We in the midst of inflation right now. Everything's getting high in price. Look at what's going on at the gas pumps. But their pockets are getting fatter and fatter. While they continuously ask for more money, trillions of dollars to build their own golden domes and their own ballrooms. It's their pockets is fat, man, are gaining fat, and they're getting fat, while we're suffering on the other end. It says, woe to him who piles up stolen goods and make himself wealthy by extortation. Right? How long must this go on? Right? So all these other nations, they seeing all this BS that Trump got going on, man. All these other nations, the people that he's persecuting, like Venezuela, you talking about they happy, man. Like, seriously? He's talking about Cuba, man. Let's go back to the article real quick, man. He's talking about a lot of things. Greenland, Denmark, at the end of the day, Denmark still ain't okay with that, man. Same thing with Cuba. Cuba's not okay with what's going on right now. Venezuela's not okay with what's going on right now. But in Trump's mind, he'll tell you anything. Oh, everybody's happy. I can make this happen, make that happen. Like, that's that mindset, man. Him just being a wicked person, man. Let me put this back on the KJV before I forget. Right? Why does it keep jumping down to verse 15? That's crazy. Habakkuk 2 and 5. Yea, also he transgressive by wine. He is a proud man, right? He's a proud man. That mindset. And let's go into that transgressive by wine real quick. This Proverbs 4:14, it's like 4:17. For they eat the bread of wickedness and drink the wine of violence, man. Let's jump up real quick to get some more understanding. This Proverbs 4:14. It said, "Enter not into the path of the wicked." See, now the discussion is talking about the wicked. "And go not in the way of the evil men. Avoid it, pass not by it, turn from it, and pass away. For they sleep not, except they have done mischief." This is how wicked they is. This is their mindset, man. This is their spirit. This is why the Lord told us avoid them. The only thing we supposed to do is just prophesy against them, man. But it says, "For they sleep not, except they have done mischief, and their sleep is taken away, unless they cause some to fall." And, man, I'm telling you, that is DJ Trump and all his followers, and his surrounding party, all of them, man. This is their mindset. This is them. They can't sleep unless they devise mischief, man. They cannot rest. Verse 17, here's the point. It says, "For they eat the bread of wickedness and drink the wine of violence," man. Damn, I didn't mean to do that. All right, let's go back. I don't know why it got me Habakkuk 2:15. Let's go back to Habakkuk 2, right? And 5. "Yea, also because he transgressed by wine," right? All that violence and his arrogant deeds, and his robbing, stealing, and unaliving, all the nastiness they have been involved into since they was young. Speaking of the Epstein files, and how a lot of them are really related with each other, allegedly. But we moving on. We ain't gonna go that deep into it. It says, and how they've been knowing each other for a lot longer. Speaking of all the high rollers, all the latest presidents and their wives and husbands. I'm just saying. All right. It says, "Yea, also because he transgressed by wine, he is a proud man. Neither keepeth at home," right? Because they feel like they can go conquer anything. If I want it, I'm gonna go get it. Nobody can stop me. "Neither keepeth at home," right? Look what he's doing. Back to the article. It says, in his first term, Trump was an American first, right? Isolationist. It says now he is an American first imperialist, right? Imperialist. All right, I want to get that for you real quick. It says imperialist. It says of relating to, supporting, or practicing imperialism. All right, creation of an unequal. There you go. Creation of, and damn, check your boy. I ain't even know they were gonna pop that up there, boy. That boy, boy. Seriously? But they know who they really are, man. It says imperialism is the maintaining and extending of power over foreign nations, particularly through expansionism, right? Expanding, conquering, employing both hard power and soft power. All right, wars, take it by force, or laws, or tariffs. These are just some examples. But I didn't know they were gonna have this. But that looked like Barron as an adult. I'm just joking. All right, it says in the first term, Trump was an American first isolationist. Now he is an American first imperialist. Right, as we were just reading, right? Habakkuk 2:5. Right, yea, also because he transgressed by wine, he is a proud man, neither keepeth at home, who enlarges his desires as hell, and is as death, and cannot be satisfied. Right, but gather unto him all nations, man. Ain't no satisfying this devil, man. He's an